Yang Yishu closed his eyes and with a pleasant smile began to touch his chin with his finger, and revealed that Lu Shang had only guessed half. Upon hearing this, Lu Shang's attention fixed on him and his mind filled with surprise. He began to ponder in silence. Lu Shang began to stare at him intently with a serious gaze as he realized that Yang Yishu, just like his creation, the natural breathing method, emanated an enigmatic and difficult-to-decipher sensation. Lu Shang was unable to understand this, so he decided not to think about it anymore and focus on the opportunity before him. Lu Shang took out the small star again and focused, causing martial fire to begin emerging from it. His eyes began to shine with determination, since he knew better than anyone that it would be foolish not to take advantage of this opportunity. After having created the first star and acquired the necessary experience, the process of forming the second had become much easier. Liu Shang began to imbue his own martial energy into the star and martial fire began to gather around it. Lu Shang soon formed the third star. This time, it turned out even more perfect, with an intense glow, already reaching a tenth of the size of Wang Yi's smallest solar domain star. Lu Shang began observing the star closely and his eyes started shining with joy, making a proud smile appear on his face. The more he mastered the process, the deeper became his understanding of stellar structure. It was a novel and indescribable experience since in reality it was impossible to split a star in half for thorough study. Lu Shang closed his eyes and bright magic circles began to appear behind him. Now he could feel it clearly. His understanding of the star Tao was ascending at a dizzying speed, as if he were riding a rocket. The star network that he had built before now seemed terribly immature to him. Not long after, the sky was filled with fire stars. Star after star were born from Lu Shang's hands. Our boy extended his hand and a perfect star appeared. Lu Shang's attention fixed on it and his eyes filled with surprise and seriousness. Finally, a dazzling star manifested in all its perfection. It surpassed all those he had created before, even reaching the standard level of Wang Yi's solar domain. And then, it began to emit signs of life. The surface of the star began to break like the shell of an egg, and several seconds later, a majestic phoenix of fire emerged from inside the star and began to flap its wings. The phoenix approached the star and began to stare at it silently, creating tension. Then it started flapping its wings again and a dazzling light began to emerge from its body. Lu Shang's attention was fixed on it. He was in shock as he couldn't believe that a phoenix had been born. The creature descended gently and sat on Lu Shang's shoulder. Then it approached our boy's face and with a calm expression began to emit chirps. Lu Shang's eyes were filled with surprise and confusion since he didn't know what was happening. Lu Shang made the phoenix sit in his arms, and while his eyes were shining with joy, with a smile he asked Yang Yishu to look at the creature. The phoenix spread its wings and began to roar. Yang Yishu could not help but smile. With a joyful gaze he asked Lu Shang if the martial path was much more interesting than he had imagined. Lu Shang made the phoenix sit on his shoulder again and with a happy expression nodded his head. Lu Shang began to observe the phoenix. His eyes expanded with joy and a smile spread across his face. He was about to call Yang Yishu a master. Until now our boy had never had someone who would guide him with such determination. He had always advanced alone, exploring blindly. In difficult moments, there was no one to vent to, and in moments of joy, he had no one to share it with. Now Yang Yishu gave a feeling of being a benevolent master. With a smile, Yang Yishu asked our boy to try doing the same again. Upon hearing his voice, Lu Shang came out of his thoughts. Not far from him was a small star from Duan Naifeng's crystalline domain, surrounded by a powerful aura. Lu Shang's attention was fixed on it and his mind filled with surprise. He began to think silently. The sky was full of stars from Duan Naifeng's domain, while his eyes were shining with confidence. With a smile, he asked Lu Shang to try since there was no reason to be afraid. Upon hearing this, Lu Shang couldn't help but feel somewhat confused. With a calm expression, Lu Shang extended his hand toward the star and began to imbue his energy in it. Lu Shang managed to control the star. He began to observe it carefully and his eyes widened with curiosity. His eyes filled with seriousness and fear. More or less, he had already understood the relationship between these three. Wang Qian Duan Yaifeng had a similar status, while Yang Yizhu was someone higher. He remembered that Yang Yishu had said that he had only guessed half of it. But Lu Shang did not know what the other half of the mystery was. While Lu Shang was focused, Yang Yishu couldn't help but smile and feel proud. Our boy was certain that Yang Yizhu had a very close connection with the Tianglin star domain. He was the one who truly had a great background, while Wang Qianduan Yafeng seemed rather to have climbed up step by step from below. Otherwise, Lu Shang couldn't believe this, since according to him there was no way that 3 level 15 or higher geniuses could be born on a small planet at the same time. And if there were a great master backing them, then everything would make sense. Lu Shang began to concentrate and the stars started to become smaller and shine. Our boy's eyes began to shine seriously, because he knew that the truth was right in front of his eyes. He didn't need to rack his brain trying to guess. He just had to wait for them to reveal the truth step by step. At the same time, in the realm of the Lion of the Blue Star it was afternoon, and near a skyscraper there was a park where a boy was playing with his father. With a gaze full of determination, the boy clenched his fist and began to practice martial arts. The father began to encourage his son and with a smile asked Albert to do it once more. That success was calling him. Albert focused and a wave of martial energy shot out from his palm. Seeing this, his eyes filled with joy and a smile appeared on his face. He couldn't believe he had achieved it. Not long after, Albert fell exhausted to the ground and began gasping heavily, telling his father that he was very tired. The father helped his son stand up by resting his son's shoulder on his own shoulder. With a confident gaze, he asked his son to get up since he couldn't stay lying on the ground right after training. The father began to look his son in the eyes, and with a confident smile revealed that he also felt a great improvement when practicing these movements. With a serious and curious expression, Albert asked his father if it was true that these movements came from the realm of the dragon. Upon hearing this, the father's eyes filled with confusion and surprise. With an angry expression, he began to imagine a powerful martial warrior from the army, and revealed that these movements were called body refinement technique of the god of war. They had been created by the god of war from the realm of the dragon, and in that place, the army was already beginning to implement them widely, completely replacing the old body refinement technique. Upon hearing this, Albert's eyes began to shine with admiration. He clenched his fist and asked if all the warriors of the dragon realm could learn the entire series of movements for free. With a calm expression, the father nodded and made it clear that they, in the lion realm, could only learn them by paying. And it wasn't even the complete series. Currently, the dragon realm had only opened the sale of some movements to outsiders. With eyes shining with admiration, Albert approached his father and suggested the idea of emigrating to the dragon realm and acquiring its nationality, since in this way they could learn the entire body refinement technique for free. The father began to gaze toward the ground in silence. He explained to his son that this was a good idea, since the existence of the body refinement technique of the god of war was undoubtedly going to make the realm of the dragon become the strongest nation in the world in the future. And when that happened, obtaining nationality from the realm of the dragon was going to be complicated. He knew that now was a good opportunity to emigrate. Albert clenched his fists and with a joyful gaze revealed to his father that his dream was simple. He wanted to become a powerful martial artist since only the strong had the right to speak. Just then, Albert's eyes filled with fear and his attention fixed on the sky. With a confused gaze, he asked his father to look at the sky. Upon hearing this, his father raised his head and upon seeing what was in the sky, his eyes filled with fear and his jaw dropped in shock. At that moment, several small alien ships appeared in the sky and a giant ship. Albert and his father were paralyzed with fear. Albert grabbed his father's arm and his eyes began to shine with surprise upon seeing a spaceship. He thought it was true that there were extraterrestrials in this world. He told his father that science fiction movies were real. The father began to observe the spaceships carefully and his eyes widened with terror since he knew that this feeling was not normal. Just then, the ships began to shine. Not long after, the spaceships fired powerful lasers at the ground, creating small explosions. A few minutes ago it was night and in E.G.'s starfighter. The man who had an eye patch communicated with the fat man, and with a smile asked if he wanted to play a little game. The fat man who was eating and drinking soda became curious and asked Iji what he was planning. Iji closed his eyes and with a confident expression said that whoever this time was faster and obtained more rewards could keep 10% of the final earnings of the other two. The long-haired man crossed his arms and mentioned that this time the reward was big. With what each one could get, they could buy a low-level garden planet. The fat man began to ponder in silence, then took a sip of soda and said that he also wanted to play. With a serious gaze, the long-haired man also said that he wanted to play. Iji couldn't help but smile and with a serious expression made it clear that if anyone backed out, he was going to send the audio recording to the boss. The fat guy started wiping food remains with a napkin and with a smile asked Iji not to regret it later. Iji started touching his chin and a smile spread across his face since according to him the blue star was beautiful. His spaceship was flying near the planet. His attention fixed on it and he couldn't help but feel pity for the miserable beings of this inferior civilization. His eyes began to shine with evil. He stuck out his tongue and asked everyone to prepare themselves for the arrival of the great Lord Agi. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part,